everyone. We're going to be continuing work on our Christmas journals today, and I have a special project in mind because I made a little boo-boo, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. Yeah, so we're done with our Portland vacation. My niece's wedding was last night or yesterday, late afternoon, and it was just the best time. Both, we love both of those kids so much, and we actually knew her fiance, now her husband. We actually knew him a couple of years before we ever met my niece, Katrina, and so it was just so neat to see the two parts come together, and a young man who we already embraced as family is now legitimately related to us through marriage. Isn't that great? So anyway, it was a wonderful time, but boy, we are just packing it in. Let me tell you what. Wanted to share with you really quick what I got today. I had to go to the dentist this morning. Today is Halloween. And so they were all dressed up in their costumes, and they had kind of a circus theme going. And this is what she gave me my toothbrush and toothpaste and stuff in today. It was a popcorn bag instead of the usual plastic bag. So that was really kind of fun. So I think you guys can all guess what's going to happen with this bag, can't ya? Yeah, so let me catch you up on some old business really quick. Since I am going to be gone and I've had to do some pre-recording, next Wednesday's video is going to be different, just a little bit. It's not going to be bad, but I won't be working on these journals, but I think you guys will find it interesting. And then I wanted to remind you guys to comment on last video, and now I'm trying to remember which day was that. That was Friday's video, right? And I will link it up above in the cards, down below in the description, and at the end on the end screens. But if you go comment, I had decided to do a surprise flash giveaway just because you guys are great. So I had this book, The Ideals Christmas Cookbook. I'll flip through it one more time. It's got some pretty pictures and all kinds of fun things in there. And I ended up, it turned out I had two by a complete accident. And then this one, The Christmas Story, Little Golden Book Christmas Story, and we're making one as well. There are those pretty pictures. Isn't that neat? And then the other one is this copy of The Night Before Christmas, because I also had duplicates of that. So you need to go and comment on last week's video where we were starting these Christmas journals, and I'll give you the details and things are in that one, but you have to comment on that one in order to be entered in the drawing for the flash giveaway. I will then draw the winner, or actually I will announce the winner on Friday the 11th. So I have to do it after I get back, okay? So that's how that's gonna work out. I'm just very excited. I'm happy to be able to do this for you guys. Since they're books, I'm not really limiting it to whether you're US only or international. If you're US, I can ship a media mail. If you're international, I have some ways to kind of get the expenses down just a little bit, but they should ship pretty inexpensively and they're not super heavy, so I'm not gonna limit it because you guys are all super terrific and I appreciate each and every one of you. And yeah, we're almost to 3,000 subscribers. So that is just astonishing to me because 2 years ago at this time, I had just barely passed 100 subscribers. And so thank you, you guys. I do appreciate that you watch along and you follow. So let's get started on this. Go ahead and get your stuff together and then we will start this in just a minute. So what I did between the last video and this video was I went ahead and I picked out a lot of papers and trimmed them down. You saw me picking out some of the pages on screen, but I found, I was looking for scrapbook papers and different things, trimming them down to fit. And as you can see, I need to do a little bit more trimming so they don't stick out the edge of the book. That's the part I always forget, is that when you're doing this, after you've measured the cover, you need to reduce about 1/2 inch in the length of your pages, or I mean the width of your pages. Your sheets, once they're folded in half, need to be about 1/2 to 1/4 inch narrower than this, because otherwise, as you start stuffing it, they stick out. So I'm gonna have a little bit of repairing to do. They're going together in some interesting ways. This one I paper clipped all the parts together so that I don't lose track of the order of the book pages. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to try to reinforce that spine from the inside and keep it. Looks like it kind of fits, but once I put pockets and things, it'll get fatter, so I will probably just take that off and widen the spine. Here's our copy of the Christmas story. I don't have a lot of Christmas paper, and what I do have is not, doesn't have the spiritual element or religious element to it, so I just went ahead and used papers that seemed like they kind of went with the style of the book, or maybe the time, the culture, that kind of thing. So, and then everybody, or most everybody's getting a copy, getting a page or so out of this Christmas Carols book. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was good investment of time. But then, boy, oh boy, you know, we kind of picked our pages for this last week, and I started cutting down pages and I messed up. So we're gonna try to turn our little boo-boo into something useful. Try to make some lemonade out of that lemon. So what we're gonna do is make a pocket. I just saw Gayle Augustinelli doing on her channel, and she just recently uploaded it, and I just saw it this morning. So I'm going to try to recreate that pocket. Part of the reason is because the Little Angel book is so tall, it can use taller ephemera. And part of the reason is because when I trimmed this down to use it as a page, I cut off too much. I'm so mad at myself. I can't tell you how irritated I am with myself for doing that. So it was like this, and my book, the size is 11 high, and they're 8.5 wide, so basically a standard sheet of paper. And when I went to trim it, I didn't do the right calculation in my head, and I trimmed it at 8.5 high instead of 11. So I trimmed off too much. But what we're gonna do today is make that pocket that I saw, and I think we may be able to redeem ourselves. I may be able to redeem myself. Then I thought for decorating it, I've got these self-adhesive strips. These came out of Michael's a number of years ago. They used to have tons of them in their little bins, and now they don't. And then possibly this is another alternative. If you, obviously we're not all gonna have these kinds of things, but you can get these at the Dollar Tree in all kinds of colors. So I think I'm gonna do a little embellishing that she didn't do. And then we wanna finish early enough so that we can read some more in the story of the other wise man. Last week I tried to read 5 minutes, and then by the time I cut out my mistakes, and there was a part where I kind of messed up, trimmed that out, and it only ended up being like 3 minutes of the story, so I want to give you a little bit more. Okay, so what we need, I'm going to lay this here so you can read my notes taken off of her video, and what we need is, for the base, we need a piece of plain cardstock. She used craft. Because my paper is blue and white, I'm using this speckled cardstock that I have. And I think what I'm gonna do is probably make two, maybe one for the first half of the book and one for the second half of the book. If I don't use the second one, I'll at least put it in my idea book, and all will not be lost. So you need a plain cardstock, and we're gonna cut that. Then you need a patterned paper, and I said or cardstock, she used paper, but that's where I'm gonna use this. And then you need another one that coordinates, because it's going to have little pockets on it. So for the coordinating, I'm going to just turn this one over, which is too bad because I lose some really cool pattern there, but I'm going to turn that over so it coordinates with that. And then when I do the second one, I'm going to use this as the base and coordinate with these. I hope that doesn't look too wild. The back side is just not quite, you know, the way the pattern goes on that, but I like the colors here. So that's my plan, and I am sticking with it. Then you need 2 sheets of coffee dyed paper or whatever that we're gonna stuff inside. We're making 2 big pockets and then layering 3 more pockets on top of it. It's gonna look really cool. So inside the big pockets we need some paper, and I picked again this kind of a pale blue. It's got kind of a textured looking pattern to it, almost a speckle but not quite, but it's not pure white. You could use coffee dyed, that's totally fine. So I have this one that's a coffee dyed like typing paper, kind of with a yellow tint for the second one. And then inside those little pockets, you need some coffee dyed paper that we're gonna fold up. And so that's what these are for. Okay, so there's your list, plus scissors, trimmer, cardstock, glue, I mean not cardstock, quarter rounder, glue. If you want to decorate it, which I did, and then you can distress. Here's your distress tool. So I think I might today. I'm feeling it. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So the first thing we do, I'm sorry I don't have an example, but I saw the video, then I went to the dentist, and I need to record this so you guys have something to watch, so there's no time to make a prototype. But it's pretty simple. I don't really want to leave this here because it's going to be in my way, but take a quick glance or a screenshot or whatever you want to do of my messy note-taking, and then we can move it out of the way. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is cut the base color, which we're using the speckle, into an 8.5 by 4 piece of paper. Okay, so because our paper is 8.5 by 11, it's 8.5 and then 4. So I just turned it this way, cut 2 4-inch pieces so I can make each pocket. Now the next piece, the patterned paper that we're going to layer it on top of this. It needs to be 8.5 high. And that was where I accidentally cut it 8.5, so that works in our favor now. And then 3.5 inches wide. So I'm going to do that really quick. Okay, so they're going to layer, and I'm going to turn one over. What I'm thinking I will do, well, that's in the paper, cool. What I'm thinking I'll do is I'll face one set of pockets this way, and then in the other half of the book, face them the other way. So I'm going to lay them differently. And then we want to round the corners on this outside edge where it's going to face, the direction that the pocket's going to face. Dropping things, sorry about that. That's what happens when I try to go quickly, but I want to go a little quickly so we have enough time to read. And this video is a decent length after I get it all edited. You know what, this is not trimmed straight, hold on. That's a little better. I had creased the page so that I could fold it and use it as a page in the journal, but then I saw this project and I want to make this instead. And around the corners. I'm trying to do them 2 at a time, but failing spectacularly. Like I said, today's Halloween. I got a little bit of candy. I don't know what to expect. The personality, I guess, of our neighborhood is changing. And so the last couple of years, and it wasn't just because of COVID, I mean, there literally weren't any kids. So, don't know. I know they live here. I see them, but they weren't going trick-or-treating, so it's kind of weird. There we go. Let's do that. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to be bagging up a little bit of candy and putting it out. I have a bowl that I put out there and a little table, and then I just tell them to help themselves because it drives my dog nuts every time the doorbell rings, and then she's just this mess of nerves on Halloween. So it works better to do it the other way. All right, so now we want to take our coordinating cardstock for the pockets, and we're gonna cut 3 pieces at 3 inches high by 2.5 wide. For this one, we're gonna use this piece, and I think it was a little bit wider than 3. Yep, it is. So I'm gonna trim that down to 3 wide and then cut 3 pockets that are 2.5 inches high. Okay, so now I've got my 3 pieces, and I'm just gonna punch a little notch right in the top of each and center it. I like to use ovals. My 1-inch round is put away right now for something else. I've got it somewhere else, so I don't want to go dig it out. But when you use the oval, it just makes your little notch wider, and you can make it a little shallower. I just like the look that it makes. And there we go. And then that means that your little notches line up. So now I'm going to do the same thing with this one to coordinate with this piece. We're going to punch the hole. Kind of have those lined up how I want them. I like that this has a snowflake on it. but I also like that it's distressed right there. Yep, I'll do it this direction for all of them. Here we go. Here we go. So now I have these for this side. Okay, and now here is where you can ink if you would like. So we're gonna, I don't remember if she rounded these corners or not. I don't think she did. Maybe she did. I just rewatched the video and kind of missed that part. I just remember her punching the hole, so that's what we're gonna do. And also I need to ink this side because we want the contrast. Unfortunately, that kind of covers up the trees, doesn't it? So sad. Oh well. So I still have a piece and I can always use it to make a pocket or something. It goes this way. I can always use it to make a pocket or something in the book, but I'm really, really angry with myself for doing that. So mad. Measure twice, cut once. So now we're gonna ink really fast. I know I mentioned that we had gone to Portland. I think I mentioned that in the last one, and that we had gotten back, so that was a really good time. My kids surprised my husband because since they're not going to be here for Thanksgiving, his birthday's always right around Thanksgiving, and they're not going to be here. We tend to celebrate it at the same time, you know, and so they surprised him with tickets to a Trailblazer game. And I didn't go because somebody needed to stay home with the dogs because we were out for a while, and then we were going to dinner first, and then they surprised him with an early birthday gift, which was a Trailblazers hat. And I learned that the nickname for the Trailblazers is Rip City. Interesting. Don't know why. It just is. Okay. There's that one. Seems like it could use a little more there. And we'll do these really quick. Okay, I got that done. So let's glue these guys together. I'm using the art glitter glue in my little Doris bottle, Doris squeeze bottle. It's a little bit easier for me to manage, and these little guys don't stop her up as much. So now we're gonna glue down. And so the curved side, the curved edges is the front. So we don't wanna glue there. As some on this channel, namely me, have been known to do. You guys would never do that, would ya? Just trying to make sure I'm still in frame there. I'm gonna scoot down towards me just a bit. There we go. And I guess I didn't have to ink every part of those. I could have just glued it and then inked it, but it's okay. I did. These are going over here, and then we'll do this side. Oops, I'm getting a little wonky wild there. I have trouble gluing in a straight line. I don't know that you can see the speckle very much now that I've covered it up, but at least we know it's there. It makes us feel better. And I chose white for the background. Gayle used a craft color, but I just figured with the colors on the pages in this book that the white would stand out better, and I kind of have in mind which book I want to, or which page I want to put it on, and it's got a really dark background, so I don't want that on there. Okay, so with the dark background, I think the white will stand out better. And her video, or her item, was inspired by, uh-oh, I shouldn't have done that one first. Was inspired by Dee Dee Farrago, with part of her Don't Freak Out Before Christmas series that she's been doing for a few years running now. So I don't know what Dee Dee used. I guess I'd have to go look it up. This is called a 5-pocket 5-pocket layered something something, so I'll just have to link Gayle's down below. There we go. So we're just gonna stagger these. Oh, my goodness, I am getting glue everywhere. And do I have a rag? No, didn't. I just have to use this cloth. Didn't bring a rag over. I thought of everything else though, so I feel like I'm still in the game, still ahead of things. Yep, so after I get this video uploaded, or after I get this video recorded, I'm going to go do some editing. I'm going to upload those two, pack the Halloween candy into little baggies, and then I think I'm ready to just get my suitcase ready to go. And then my kids were telling us about this app, mobile passport app, so you can, it's like a fast pass for your passport when you go through customs. They said it was really nice because you kind of bypass the big line, and then when they mentioned it, I remembered seeing that option at the customs in Scotland when we got there. So it's either Scotland or Chicago when we came back. I don't remember which. One of them had that option. Okay, I hope that doesn't look too patchy, but there's one. So let's go ahead and glue these on. And I don't think it really matters what order, so. And then we will decorate them. I suppose you could go ahead and decorate these before you glue, if that's not too bulky and stuff, you know. You do you. You do it how you want. There's one. It was just so good last night to see those two happy and finally married, and they're just perfect for each other, and they're just gonna have a good life. It's interesting because they were both born in Africa. She was adopted by my stepbrother from Ethiopia, along with, hold on, they adopted 13 kids from Ethiopia in 3 different adoption sessions, basically, and Katrina's towards the end. So I got to meet quite a few of my nieces and nephews that I've never met, and that was fun. But he's from South Africa, and he came up to work at Tree City and Nazarene here in Meridian, and yeah, and so she was raised in California, and he moved here from South Africa, and they met, and there they are. It was just great, just so nice, just a great ceremony, great time, great group of people too. You know, not all weddings are like that, and it was so relaxed, and they were happy, and everybody was just really enjoyable to be with. So can't say that for every wedding, can you? Anyway, it was a good time. Okay, so there those are. And we're going to take a second here. I got this one out because of that sparkly piece. I thought this little sparkly strip would look really neat running down the edge of each one. And all I have to do is decide, do I want it towards the opening edge or this side? I'm feeling like this side. So I'm just gonna turn this around here. I don't think it would hurt to add a strip of glue. Don't think it's gonna hurt anything at all. And I'm gonna kind of try to line that up so it's straight, like running in a straight line all the way down. Like that. And then I went digging through my embellishments, and if I want to add something else, we'll see. We'll just take a look real quick. Scissors. But I thought the little sparkles from this would look really cool. Kind of like snow. That was my thought. So my younger daughter was supposed to sing in the wedding, but I think I told you that they came back from Italy. She was sick on her way back, and then she tested positive for COVID, so it had been over a week, but she finally tested negative, and then her voice was just too scratchy and stuff. She wasn't going to be able to sing, so that was kind of a bummer. Would have loved to have heard her sing, but it was not meant to be. Okay, which one should we do? I was leaning towards this one, but I don't have enough to do all three. And I think this one kind of looks like little snowdrops. I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to run it up the edge that's opposite of the opening, and I'm going to try to just go in a straight line here so they all sort of line up together as close as I can get it. So you know what I need to do is I have plans to do another Christmas Q&A like I did last year. I think that worked really well because then I can schedule it for that week between New Year's and Christmas and New Year's, and it's kind of a dead week. Everybody's busy, but it would just be kind of a low-key video, and you all could watch it as you have time, and it wouldn't be part of a series. So if you guys have questions that you want to ask me for my Christmas Q&A, it was really a lot of fun last year. It made me do I had to do a little bit digging deep inside myself. And if I don't like your question, I just won't answer it. No. They weren't bad. They were just fine. But anyway. So yeah, you can post those questions down below. Oh, I just fizzied that up. I made it all. Shucks. Got all frayed. Oh dear. I wonder. Hold on. Let's take that one off because I should have enough to try again. Okay, it's these scissors. They're not fabric scissors, so let me just figure out where it needs to trim, and then there we go. That way I can just trim it, re-glue. Yeah, they don't cut the cleanest edge because they're not fabric scissors. They're paper scissors. Okay, now I can't get my pin back. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so post your questions down below if you have any. If you don't have any, we won't do it, but that's fine. I mean, it's up to you guys. But I have a lot more people watching now too, so if there are questions that have been asked before, though, I'll just tell you, when I answer the questions, that you can go back to last year's. I had a two-parter last year. And I don't know, maybe I'll have my daughter read the questions again. I don't know. Okay, so what do you think about that? Those are cute. Now let's see. I have some embellishments I made 2 years ago. I was cleaning up my desk and trying to use just all kinds of little scraps. And so I made these. This one has to pin on, so I would say that's a no. These are too big. These are just Pictionary things that have to do with Christmas, so that wouldn't apply here. And that one is probably too long. I don't know. These might all be too big. We don't want Santa because it's an angel. Angel heaven theme. And while St. Nicholas was a real guy who really did work and good work in Jesus' name, Santa Claus is not who we want. At least not in this one. I'm not anti-Santa. I think he's got his place, but, we always had fun with that, but we didn't We never tried to make our kids think that that was the be-all, end-all of Christmas. They were raised. They know. They know what Christmas is all about. Okay, these are all too big. Okay, so that's not going to work. Well, bummer. I have like just a few minutes left. Okay, well, it was worth a shot because I've made bunches of these as I get inspiration. They're kind of fun. So what I do have... Oh, yeah, these guys right here. Okay, so I bought these from a shop called One Day Long Ago on Etsy, and these are those little German scrap pieces. I think these are newer productions. There's older ones. These right here came, I think, from Boston Bag Lady, but I thought maybe the little angel people I could use and carry on the angel theme. These are too big. These are bigger than I remember. Let me see here. Can't figure out how to open this thing. I'm going off screen to open. Oh, okay. Oh, no, this is also from One Day Long Ago on Etsy. Wow, these are pretty. I thought I had some from Boston Bag Lady. Maybe, oh, let me go with this row up here. Are you guys the same? Maybe, I just saw the ones on Boston Bag Lady and thought about it. I know these are like feminine looking little angels, but they're the right size. And well, angels are genderless. It's nice to draw them in other ways. Okay, so on these little guys, all you do is just, they're connected with these pieces, and all you do is cut them off. There's one. Oops. Going that way. Cute. It's got strings or something. Oh, maybe that was from something else. Okay. There we go. That's kind of cute. I want one of these guys. So these may look a little more Victorian than the style of the book, but hopefully, because they're little children angels, which again, angels are ageless. They don't have ages. Okay, I saw a piece I needed to trim. What did I guess I ignored it. Okay. Anyway, I just thought they'd be cute. And then I have, where's that one with the face? Let's do blue to tie in with the blue. These are neat. Cute. Oh my goodness, you little darlings. And then on the other one, I don't know if that will go or not. Probably not. I don't know. Those might be too busy. But I have, where did I just put that other thing of, I have this thing of embellishments. I thought I just had another one out here. Oh, I don't think I took it out. Okay, so let's see if there's any little pieces that match. This was from Stamperia, and I ordered it from an Etsy seller. I don't remember who. It's called Classic Christmas is the style. Christmas greeting. Maybe that's all that needs, right? Like that. What do you think? Since there's not as much blue. Okay. think I did it. I did it. So let's glue these on there and then we'll read. Start with this guy first. He's very thick. Oh, and then we still need to make the little doohickeys for the pocket. Forgot to do that part where we cut the strips and fold it into envelopes. I guess that explains why I thought I had more time than I needed, but I didn't. I didn't really. I wonder if I went like that, would that look a little more balanced, or does it matter? Probably doesn't matter, but I kind of like it better. I don't know why. This one's turning out real cute. That's cute, and then they have a little bit of sparkle too on them. I suppose you could always put like a little blank label there if you want, but it's gonna have enough other stuff happening here. So then we'll fold up the papers really quick and then we can read. I'm gonna let him overlap the edge of the pocket with his wings, but he won't come out past here. So I think that'll be fine. Yay! I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Pardon me while I clean up for a sec. Okie dokie. Okay. So I thought in this one I would put the plain paper, and what you're wanting is your paper, we're gonna tri-fold it and slide it in here. So we need to trim these down. So I'm gonna put the blue in here, and I'm gonna put this yellowish tone in here. And I'm gonna trim them down. I'm gonna take off about 1 inch, so it'll be 7.5 by 11. And then all you do is a little tri-fold. And then Gayle inked around her edge that sticks out. I'll see how it looks. I don't really think that's probably super necessary, but I could be wrong. It's been known to happen once or twice. I don't think I folded that one down enough. So that one can slide behind on the page, and this one slides into the pocket, and then you get tons of writing space that way. Yeah, I like that because it's just such a pale shade of blue, but it breaks up the white and it adds to the blue. I'm really liking how this is turning out. That is super cute. Okay, let's fold these guys. That actually works out really well because the yellowish tone of this paper is picking up the tans and golds in here, and it all ties together very nicely. I really like that. It's not going in super straight, but we'll fiddle with that later. And we'll fold this one. Am I on camera? Probably not enough, probably. There we go. Got ourselves a crisp, cool, not cold, fall day. It's very nice. You know what? That one wasn't sliding in very well. I wonder if this one will. Usually on Halloween the weather gets cold and everything you plan for your child's Halloween costume winds up being not warm enough. Then you end up having to change everything last minute. The wedding weather yesterday was just beautiful. So beautiful. And then the reception was in kind of a little barn structure, and it was just so nice. And then they had some heaters and all the body heat. It was very comfortable. I didn't get cold sitting out. I was afraid I'd need a coat because sometimes it can be cool and rainy this time of year, but generally it's pretty nice. It was just so gorgeous. Okay, the last thing we need are 3 strips, 1, 2, 3 per pocket, a plain coffee dyed paper, plain or dyed paper. I would think you could just use anything that strikes your fancy. I brought these over, so I need 6, and they need to be 8.5 high, this way, 8.5 by 2.5 wide. So I'm going to cut those really fast and be right back. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. I'm missing one. Oh, there we go. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So some of these, again, are a little bit yellower in color and some are paler, so I'm going to fold them that way. So what you do is just fold a point down here at the bottom. Excuse me, let me move everything. Fold a point. So the way I did that was brought these two corners in until they meet right in the middle, like that. Forms a point. And then what she did to get the folds even, we're gonna roll it up like this. So she brought this down here, folded her point down, and then you open that back up, pull this up to just under where the crease is, about 1/8 of an inch or so. You just need a little space so that this can still fold. And she folded that. That gave her the halfway point. And then she just folded just below this crease, rolled it, and rolled it up again. And it should come in right underneath this. There we go. And then she just stuffed the pockets. Hers go, she did them that way. I think they might be kind of cute if you went that way, but I could be wrong. Or if you hang the point over the top, I think that could be cute. And then you could ink them up. Actually, I like that. That's really cute. You can ink them up if you want. Fold that down. Do it again. Slide that in here. Oh my gosh, I'm loving the sparkles. It kind of runs into the angel. Maybe you won't. Maybe that one won't do that. Let me do it one more time. Then we just slide it in here. Yeah, you know, it is cute, but it only works on this one, so we won't do that. So I could still put a word if I want. I could say Noel or peace, which I might go back and do because I think that'd look really cute. And then I'll do the same thing with these to go in these pockets. But in the interest of time, we want to read our story. But what do you think about how they turned out? Aren't those cute? So I think those will look really cute in this journal. Look at our little guy. He's just stinking adorable. So stinking cute. See, won't that be cute? Oh, okay, sorry. I'll stop fussing and moaning over it, and then I'll try to make myself a third one to go in my idea book, because that's a great little project. So let's get started with our reading. Okay, when last we met our fella, we're not sure what's going on, but there's a group who is assembling at this man's house, and his name is Artaban. Okay, so he was welcoming everyone and saying, peace be with you. There were 9 of the men, differing widely in age, but alike in the richness of their dress of many-colored silks, and in the massive golden collars around their necks, marking them as Parthian nobles, and the winged circles of gold resting upon their breasts, the sign of the followers of Zoroaster. I'm going to interrupt. I don't know how much of that is true or how much of that was fiction, so I don't know. But you can definitely research to find out who the wise men really were. They took their places around a small black altar at the end of the room where a tiny flame was burning. Artaban, standing beside it and waving a barsom of thin tamarisk branches above the fire, fed it with dry sticks of pine and fragrant oils. Then he began the ancient chant of the yasna, and the voices of his companions joined in the beautiful hymn to Ahura Mazda. We worship the Spirit divine, all wisdom and goodness possessing, surrounded by holy immortals, the givers of bounty and blessing. We joy in the works of his hands, his truth and his power confessing. We praise all the things that are pure, for these are his only creation, the thoughts that are true, and the words and deeds that have won approbation. These are supported by him, and for these we make adoration. Hear us, O Mazda, thou livest in truth and in heavenly gladness. Cleanse us from falsehood, and keep us from evil and bondage to badness. Pour out the light and the joy of thy life on our darkness and sadness. Shine on our gardens and fields, shine on our working and weaving, shine on the whole race of man, believing and unbelieving. Shine on us now through the night, shine on us now in thy might, the flame of our holy love and the song of our worship receiving. The fire rose with the chant, throbbing as if it were made of musical flame, until it cast a bright illumination through the whole apartment, revealing its simplicity and splendor. The floor was laid with tiles of dark blue veined with white. Pilasters of twisted silver stood out against the blue walls. The clear story of round-arched windows above them was hung with azure silk. The vaulted ceiling was a pavement of sapphires, like the body of heaven in its clearness, sewn with silver stars. From the four corners of the roof hung 4 golden magic wheels called the tongues of the gods. At the eastern end behind the altar, there were 2 dark red pillars of porphyry. Above them a lintel of the same stone, on which was carved the figure of a winged archer, with his arrow set to the string and his bow drawn. The doorway between the pillars, which opened upon the terrace of the roof, was covered with a heavy curtain of the color of a ripe pomegranate, embroidered with innumerable golden rays shooting upward from the floor. In effect, the room was like a quiet, starry night, all azure and silver, flushed in the east with the rosy promise of the dawn. It was, as the house of a man should be, an expression of the character and spirit of the master. He turned to his friends when the song was ended and invited them to be seated on the divan at the western end of the room. "You have come tonight," said he, looking around the circle, "at my call, as the faithful scholars of Zoroaster, to renew your worship and rekindle your faith in the God of purity, even as this fire has been rekindled on the altar. We worship not the fire, but him of whom it is the chosen symbol, because it is the purest of all created things. It speaks to us of one who is light and truth. Is it not so, my father?" "It is well said, my son," answered the venerable Abgarus. "The enlightened are never idolaters. They lift the veil of the form and go into the shrine of the reality, and new light and truth are coming to them continually through the old symbols." "Hear me then, my father and my friends," said Artaban very quietly, "while I tell you of the new light and truth that have come to me through the most ancient of all signs. We have searched the secrets of nature together and studied the healing virtues of water and fire and the plants. We have read also the books of prophecy in which the future is dimly foretold in words that are hard to understand. But the highest of all learning is the knowledge of the stars. To trace their courses is to untangle the threads of the mystery of life from the beginning to the end. If we could follow them perfectly, nothing would be hidden from us. But is not our knowledge of them still incomplete? Are there not many stars still beyond our horizon, lights that are known only to the dwellers in the far southland, among the spice trees of Punt and the gold mines of Ophir?" There was a murmur of assent among the listeners. "The stars," said Tigranes, "are the thoughts of the eternal. They are numberless, but the thoughts of man can be counted like the years of his life. The wisdom of the Magi is the greatest of all wisdoms on earth because it knows its own ignorance, and that is the secret of power. We keep men always looking and waiting for a new sunrise, but we ourselves know that the darkness is equal to the light and that the conflict between them will never be ended." "That does not satisfy me," answered Artaban, "for if the waiting must be endless, if there could be no fulfillment of it, then it would not be wisdom to look and wait. We should become like those new teachers of the Greeks who say that there is no truth, and that the only wise men are those who spend their lives in discovering and exposing the lies that have been believed in the world. But the new sunrise will certainly dawn in the appointed time. Do not our own books tell us that this will come to pass, and that men will see the brightness of a great light?" "That is true," said the voice of Abgarus. "Every faithful disciple of Zoroaster knows the prophecy of the Avesta and carries the word in his heart." In that day, Sociosh the victorious shall arise out of the number of the prophets in the east country. Around him shall shine a mighty brightness, and he shall make life everlasting, incorruptible, and immortal, and the dead shall rise again. This is a dark saying, said Tigranes, and it may well be that we shall never understand it. It is better to consider the things that are near at hand and to increase the influence of the Magi in their own country, rather than to look for one who may be a stranger and to whom we must resign our power. The others seemed to approve these words. There was a silent feeling of agreement manifest among them. Their looks responded with that indefinable expression which always follows when a speaker has uttered the thought that has been slumbering in the hearts of his listeners. And we'll have to stop there. They're in the middle of a discussion, so it's a hard place to stop, but I don't want to bore you with reading too long. Okay, guys, I hope you appreciated today's video and you learned something new and willing to go and try these new pockets. Show them to you one more time. So until next time, be inspired and do something creative today, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.